Well, let's take a look at Apple shares today because there was a downgrade of the stock. They're off by more than 2%. Rosenblatt Securities downgrading the tech giant's shares from neutral to sell. On the phone with us now to walk us through the reasoning behind the downgrade is Rosenblatt Securities Managing Director Zhang. Thank you for joining us. So if you look at your note here today, you talked about new iPhone sales that would be disappointing. iPad sales growth will be slowing. And then everybody talks about the services, but you say service revenue growth is also going to decelerate. Let's start with that services growth decelerating, because that's really what bulls on the stock have staked their case on. Why do you think that will be decelerating?
Good morning. Thanks. Sure. First revenue last year, Apple Music and Apple News. And so far, our data points suggest that the growth from the Apple News doesn't really support the strong growth for the service revenue in Q2, and we think the second half, as the business already pretty high in the second half of last year, so we expect the service revenue growth will be slower compared with the first half of this year.
So why did you maintain the price target? Why didn't you cut it?
We already had a price target since early this year. We were pretty cautious on iPhone sales for the calendar this year. And with the recent stock price rebound, we think that fundamentally the iPhone sales doesn't seem much improvement. And we have a more concern for the second half as the 5G cycle is coming. A lot of Android smartphones are launching 5G smartphone very aggressive. So we believe in some markets, those Android smartphones would start taking shares in high-end market with their 5G smartphone.
Sure. You know, when I hear fundamental deterioration, I read through it as you think Apple, innovation and Apple is dead. Do you think innovation at Apple is dead? They're still going to come out with new phones, new iPods, and a host of new products that a lot of people are going to go out there and buy.
Yeah, I think in some of the markets, for example, in China, we do see the installation base for the iOS shrinking, mostly because of the Android camp is taking shares. So I think that makes me a little bit concerned because China used to be a growth driver for the iPhone sales. And other markets, we do see some of the slowing down of iPhone sales recently. So that's why we cut the iPhone shipment estimate for calendar Q4 of this year. So I think fundamentally the sales is coming down from our previously expected.
All really good points. So what would then be the bull case, though, if we think innovation could be over?
I think 5G could be a good cycle. I mean, that drives the people to upgrade the phone. But I just feel that Apple is lagged behind the 5G cycle with all the 5G Android players are becoming more aggressive on the 5G, and Apple might just launch original 5G smartphone next year, which is lacking competition in some of the markets. I think the upgrading cycle for 5G, iPhone 5G, probably won't come until 2021. So we still needs to be a little bit patient for the next upgrading cycle. And for the innovation, I think probably not for the iPhone. I think Apple working on different other devices like Apple Bus or the cars. So that will be some of the new things we need to continue to monitor.
All right, Zhang, thank you so much. Zhang is Rosenblatt Securities Managing Director.